being a original artist comes at a cost. I'm going to talk about it a little bit. So as you all know, or maybe not know, I've been doing Andelson for the last 3 years. That's a short amount of time for a full-time musician. I'm pretty new to the game in terms of doing it full time. I've been playing guitar for about 10 years. I've been producing and mixing and all that stuff for about, I would say, about 6 years. And it's been a very interesting journey so far. I want to talk to you about kind of like some of the things that I went through and some of the things I'm going through right now as a full time musician and what I would like to believe a original artist. So my journey into original artisthood um, started when I was in my band Encryption. Encryption was a death metal band. I was the death metal vocalist, believe it or not. Um, so I started my foray in music when I was a death metal vocalist, and during that time, my friend Fernando actually started teaching me how to play bass and play play guitar and whatnot, and started taking like probably took like 3 lessons from him, and then from there I just kind of picked it up. Uh, so Encryption was a pretty original death metal band, I would say. Um, Around that time, I was a very impressionable young dude. So, I think I was very asinine in the fact that I was just like a metal or die type of guy, and it was very interesting. Um, and the cool thing was, it's like I grew up with hip hop. I grew up with all that stuff. I mean, of course, being in a black family. Not to say that all black families listen to hip hop and R&B, but I would say a good majority of them do. It's black music, so that's always been there, right? And I guess I never really appreciated it when I was younger. Um, and then I also want to mention that everything that I'm going to talk about here is extremely relative in the sense that, like, my emotional traumatic events that happened to me when I was young are all an effect of my originality. Um, Life experiences is a big deal, I think, when it comes to being an artist, being a musician, whatnot. And those are some of the things that I like to teach to my students and kind of make them kind of dive into their childhood and seek things that their family has done, because even ancestral stuff, it's all very powerful, especially if you know how to tap into it. Then you'll have a really unique time doing art. So basically, around that time, I I think I was about 14, 13, yeah, 14 or 15, around that time, yeah. Um, I hated how I looked. Now, this is all, like I said, everything's all relative to how I am as a person now and the way that I pursue music. I hated myself. I hated the way that I looked. I think I didn't really explore my blackness enough when I was young, and it really stifled me artistically, because it all kind of developed into an unoriginal um, tirade artistically during my teenage years. So I didn't really appreciate my blackness. And I think that had a lot to do with my surroundings and the people that I hanged around with. I was made fun a lot because of my big lips and my big nose and my wonderful face. Pretty much everything I was made fun of. It was made fun of, and that had a really profound effect with me, especially since metal. There's a lot of white fans in metal. There wasn't a lot of black metal heads around that time, so that had a huge effect on me. So I always thought, and then also like the shitty thing about that time when I was a teenager, hip hop in the metal community was frowned upon. It was ignorant. It was stupid. So, and the thing is, like I've always, it sucks because I always like when I was at that age, I secretly liked it, but I didn't want to tell anyone because people would make fun of me, which is really fucking dumb. It's stupid, and I'm glad that as I got older, I started developing my own sense of self worth, and I started to love myself more, and that was a very very big thing. So that right there is the first like form of my traumatic events and underlining my unoriginal taste in my artistic endeavors and whatnot. So basically, as I kept progressing with encryption, I started learning how to play guitar, and I wanted to. The only reason why I started playing guitar was because I wanted to be a part of the writing process, like really be a part of it. And I didn't really like some of the stuff they were writing, so I was like, I want to learn how to play guitar. So I started learning how to play guitar. After I started learning how to play guitar, um, I encountered animals as leaders. So this is when I started really accepting myself as a black man, as a black musician. This is when I really started to love myself. Was when I saw Tosin Abasi, and Tosin Abasi was a huge influence for me. I don't think people understand like when I say that. It's like extremely internal. Internally, like just like he really had a profound effect on me because at that time there wasn't really a lot of like I mean of course got guys like Jimi Hendrix and um, you know a bunch of other black musicians that were in rock and metal, but he was doing things on the guitar that I've never seen before, and I've never seen a black man in that limelight of like progressive metal, and he was the forefront of that band, and he was incredibly original. He was everything that I always wanted to be as a black musician. That's what Tosin was like. That's the way that I looked at him when I was younger, and he was the reason why I wanted to play guitar full time. Like, just like actually like, I want to be a guitar player. It was Tosin, and I kind of want to talk about more about like the feelings that I had when I saw that. Of course, like being a black dude at metal at that time was really hard, and um, I felt like I didn't really have a voice because I didn't have anybody to look up to, and Tosin was that person. He was so sitting serious, like seriously, y'all. I can't even like I can't even put it into words. He really changed. He changed my life because I've like I said, like there wasn't a lot of like black mentors and a lot of like black leaders in this specific field or a specific genre. So to have him be in the scene, um, to have him be in the scene was a very powerful thing for me, and that's when I started to love myself more. Physically, of course, I started to enjoy my blackness more, and that was a very cool thing. So right around that time, I was like, well, I want to play like Tosin now. So this was a good thing for me because I saw something that I wanted to achieve, and it was aligned with the hate with myself. So I challenged that, and I was able to get way better at guitar in a very short period of time because of him. So I really studied animals as leaders. Like I would really like study his material, And once again, like, it's deeper than just like, oh, I just want to like copy him. No, it was like he was a black guitar player in a room full of white guitar players, and he just crushed it. And he talked like me. You know, around that time, um, the whole you talk white thing was very prominent. I felt very in tune with Tosin because of that. So I don't know if he's experienced that type of stuff, but this is why it's important. Like, when you have heroes and stuff, like he's my hero, and when people tell me I'm their hero, like, that really means a lot. Like, I must have really made a positive impact on your life, and I'm glad that my music was able to give you that. And I just want to tell all you people out there that do think of me as a hero, like, I love you, and I really do hope you do well, and I wish the best. And I'm sincerely grateful that my music had the impact that it had on your life, and you made like a positive change in your life, and that's a beautiful thing. Music is very powerful. Um, so I really do try my best to. Um, I really do try my best to be kind to my fans and to the people that talk to me, because you just never know what they're going through. So um, I really appreciate it, and I'm glad that I was able to do something for you, artistically, mentally, and all that stuff. But that's what Tosin was to me. Like, Tosin was that to me, and that was a very important thing. So I started a band Incipients with my dude Jordan, and we were basically like a rip off Animals as Leaders band. We actually were doing really well. We were doing super well. I was really impressed with how we were presenting ourselves, and we really hustled. But over time, I started to realize that, like, I can't be like Tosin. Tosin is Tosin, and I'm me. You know, that was a very pivotal moment in my life. And of course, like, I'm skipping a lot of like uh experiences that I had. But like, one of the biggest experiences that I had was when, when I was with Incipients, and I was hanging out with Al Joseph, Hedras, Yas Nomura, and we were at a bar. I think we just played a show, or Hedras was going to play a show with me, and um man, like, Al Joseph, I think he got drunk, and pretty much he was telling me, he was like, dude, you're not going to go far if you're just trying to be like Tosin. And he just clowned me a bit, and it was kind of like one of those tough love moments, because Al Joseph, Hedras, Yas, all those dudes are regarded very high in the guitar scene. Like, they are insane players. So uh, I learned a lot. I got a lot of insight from them. They've been in the game longer than me. So Al Joseph was just saying, like, Tosin's Tosin, you're you. Like, you can't be like Tosin. Like, he's already doing what you're trying to do, and you're not gonna last long. And he was seriously attacking my very fabric of existence, because Tosin was such a huge influence for me, not just artistically, but just like in life. So I went out, I sat down in some stairs and fucking cried, uh, because I felt like wounded artistically, and I was just like, damn, like, that dude just attacked everything that I believed in. But that's something I really needed, and that was a pivotal point in my music career, because I started exploring my roots. As I said before in the video, like, I've always secretly listened to hip hop, and hip hop, I would say, is like, probably, I like hip hop more than metal. I've always had, um, and I have family members that are rappers and producers and beat makers and stuff, and that had a huge effect on me. And I've always known that like this stuff has been like inherently in me, so I started exploring that. And I, previously when I was in my teenage years, my cousin was teaching me how to make beats and stuff. And my first thought actually was Fruity Loops. So I started messing around with Fruity Loops, and from there, like I started making beats, and that's when I got into like stone throw artists, like you know, um, Jay Dilla. I'm gonna talk about that right now. Jay Dilla, MF Doom, um, Madlib, like all those guys were like introductions of me kind of getting into hip hop. So now we're going back to when I was a teenager. So started listening to all that, and there's two people that really changed my life around that time too. Start and made me start to realize like the power of my culture and how unique it is and how beautiful it is. Um, and Jay Dilla was one of them. Like I still get baffled by JD. Like I sometimes go back and listen to his discography, and I trip out because it's like he was a genius, man, and he changed my life too. Um, he made me really want to make beats and stuff, and like I really wanted to like be a beat maker. Like that was a very big thing. And all these things I'm telling you guys right now is things that I thought about myself. I never talked about these kinds of things with people like when I was a kid, and how much I hated myself, and how I secretly liked hip hop and stuff. Like this is yeah, I've never told anyone this. So, um and then I started listening to MF Doom. He opened my eyes, and like I've always wanted to rap. I've always kind of rapped secretly too. Like I've always been practicing. You're just hearing it now because I'm confident in my flow and how I spit and stuff. So um I would say like right after MF Doom died, that's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna rap. Because like that was a big blow too. MF Doom passing, that was really hard. Uh that was hard for everyone in the hip hop community. But man, that hit me really hard because MF Doom kind of opened the doors for me, and like in terms of like spitting and stuff and like rapping. And then of course Tyler the Creator. So I I had the fortunate experience of like growing up during the Odd Future era, and that was super fun. Um, Tyler the Creator, like just all these amazing black musicians and artists, like it really made me love myself more, and how like unapologetically they were of themselves. Like they were just themselves, like 100% of the time. And so, man, yeah, Tyler the Creator had a really big influence on my journey of originality, because his music was very different um, from a lot of people in the hip hop game. And I till this day I would say he's probably one of the most original artists in hip hop. Like straight the fuck up. Um, that dude has his own sound, and that's so powerful. That's another thing that I started learning when I was in the Recipients, like having your own sound and just doing your own thing. You're in a completely league of your own. Like you're in a league of your own. Um, Regardless if people try to copy you, like you're you. And that's something that I really didn't understand. And I would say one of the big things that happened to me as well was, because the studio that where I was recording the new Incipients record, which was Vehement, my buddy Nick was working with Animals Leaders. So he's working with their, like he's doing the new stuff with them. Like they record their album at that studio. So I would see Javier Reyes like every so often. Like I'll just be in the studio chilling. And he's like, "Oh yeah, Javier's here." I'll just be like, so I also had a couple other people that knew Javier personally, and they showed him my music, and one of the things that really made me want to like stop trying to be like a copy in Animals Leaders band was what Javier said about my band Incipients. So, um, basically, what happened was I told the dude that knew Javier, I was like, "Hey, so what did he think of my music?" He showed him some of the stuff, and Javier said, "It's cool, but we're already doing it." Like, it's impressive that they could play this. It's impressive that they can kind of like mimic our sound, but we're already doing it. And that really hit me hard because I was like, wow. So to the Al Joseph stuff, right? Me fucking crying outside of a bar on some stairs because Al Joseph mocked the very existence of my creativity to me kind of starting to experience and welcome my culture, my ancestral blood, my historical culture of powerful music and jazz and all that stuff. And then to him saying like, yeah, this is, I mean, it's not going to go anywhere. Like we're already doing it. It's nothing crazy. Really, really made an impact on my life. I'm so fortunate as well to have someone like one of the biggest guitar players in our generation say that about my stuff because you're not going to get like that super like authentic like advice from someone. Not necessarily advice. He just told the dude like what he thought, but you just don't get that. A lot of people don't get that. I'm very fortunate to have experienced that. Um, so yeah, that had a big impact, and of course, around that time, I was dabbling with Andelson, so I was already doing Andelson. I remember, keep in mind, it's been like 3 years. I'm 26 now, so I started Andelson when I was 23. So I was working on my first EP, Vitality, and he showed Javier Reyes Vitality. This was before Vitality came out, and he was like, "This shit's tight. This is cool. They should do this." And then I was just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna quit Incipients." So that's what I quit Incipients. I quit because right there was everything. This the universe was telling me like everything like, hey, you need to stop doing this. You're not gonna go anywhere. So the universe was really speaking to me, and I had very very real people and friends in my life that told me like, nah, that ain't it, bro. So I quit Incipient, started Andelson, and started going up, started just increasing. My career started like going up like really fast, and um, Vitality was kind of like a test to kind of see what people think, and people really liked it. That's when I came out with Delete This. That did well. I honestly would say all of my releases did well, especially from where I was at that time. Um, that all they all did well. They all like it was very good growth, very organic, real growth, and that's a really awesome thing. And then one of the main things I wanted with Ando-san was to be myself. I wanted to be myself really bad because I was keeping myself in this. I was like kind of like hiding myself because I was so ashamed of who I was. So all these people, all everything that I'm saying is relative to like my experience artistically, and all those things had an impact um, on me when it really had an impact on me, man. Like huge in my development of becoming an original artist. Um, it's been pretty hard. It's very, you know what? It's very interesting because when I first started out, when I first started on the sign and I started doing that release Vitality, like Yeah, my shit skyrocketed. Like I was doing way better than when I was in Incipients. I got better endorsements. I just like yeah, like it just everything was so much better. But now I feel like I've already kind of established myself as like I'm like I'm the shit, you know. Because there's levels to this shit. Like there's levels to doing this, and I think a lot of people didn't really acknowledge my hard work and just like how dope my music was, and I think they are now. But now the cost of being original is pretty interesting. It's like it's a huge gamble. Now I would imagine if I was an incipient, um, if I kept doing incipients, kept doing music that like Animals as Leaders, I probably would have gotten more shows for sure. I would have gotten way more shows because my sound can kind of like mesh with all these other bands and stuff. I mean, dude, when I was in Incipients, I played with like Mestis and Marty Friedman and all these other guys. Of course, they're just like local gigs, but we got them because of our sound. I bet now if I tried playing, I mean, I feel like I'm developing more connections on that end, but it's been a lot harder to get shows. And it's because my sound is so unique that like promoters don't really know where to put me. So that becomes a problem. The other problem is just like people don't know what to think of this music that I'm making. They want to see what the other guys are thinking, like, you know, um, and that they kind of just follow the crowd. It's like if a bunch of people start liking a certain thing, then that's when they'll probably start listening to it. So at the time when I started Vitality, like I was surprised with like the amount of praise I got for that EP because I thought no one was gonna like it. And then once I got that audience, things have kind of got better. And like now that I'm kind of like getting more notable acts on my music and people are starting to acknowledge my stuff, it's gotten a lot easier. But the cost is the industry doesn't know what to do with you. Like so I that's why like being an independent artist is kind of cool because I get to kind of pave my way, um, and I get to talk to my fans and all that stuff, and um, get to really connect with them because I have um, to really make them understand my vision. And then the thing is, it's like they're not going to understand your vision, so you have to teach them to. You have to show them. You have to teach them to understand it. Like this is what it is. This is this and that because you are the expert person, right? You're the person that's doing the thing. They're not going to know what to do with it, so you kind of have to guide them a little bit. So that's something that I've been experiencing a bit, and I'm glad that people are kind of keeping open mind with my music because things are just going to keep changing. Like I want to do so much different stuff, like so my sound is going to change a lot. But yeah, this is a super long-winded video that doesn't really have any direction, and I just wanted to talk to you guys about like how the self-hate that I had when I was younger really had an effect on me artistically, and like how my heroes helped me kind of get out of the shell and help me and kind of like help me be myself more, and like my journey to where I'm at now. And of course, there's a lot more things that I've like kind of um, didn't mention, but those are some of the immediate things that I can remember right now that had a very profound effect on me when I was starting to do Andelson and whatnot. But yeah, hope y'all enjoy this video. Let me know if you want me to do more stuff like this. I'm just kind of talking out of my ass, and I'm just tell you how I feel and some of the things that I've gone through. And the self-hate was a big thing. I'm so proud to be black. Being black is beautiful, and of course, all the sadness and hatred that I have with myself is the product of my surroundings and the people I was hanging out with. And it's so sad. I never want my children to experience that, and they won't. Because you need to be proud of who you are, man. Be fucking proud of who you are. Be yourself. It's such a beautiful thing. Like Andelson is that for me. Like I'm just myself. When you see me put out a video or you see me to do this, talk to people, I'm myself 100% of the time. And if I do anything out of character or anything stupid, hold me accountable. Tell me, and then I'll take accountability of myself because sometimes you'll slip up. So you gotta tell me like, hey, Brandon, that was kind of stupid, and then I will be like, dang, yeah, that was pretty dumb. My bad. And I'll take accountability of myself. But that's yeah. But yeah, I hope y'all have a great day. I'm gonna be making more YouTube videos. This is probably gonna be a lengthy one. And yeah, peace.